Hey everyone, Sam Taylor, Cancer Cure Bus, recording from MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston, Texas. So my surgical procedure with Dr. Weinberg was scheduled for Monday, November 7th, day before the election. So that night before, Sunday night, I wanted to get a blessing. Obviously it's a big day the next day, the surgical procedure. So I asked for a blessing, and I did receive a blessing that Sunday night. And in that blessing, I was blessed that everything would go well with the procedure. And something that caught my attention was, I was also, through me, my surgeons were blessed that they would perform beyond their capabilities. And there were some other things said, but I remember that standing out. And I remember after the blessing I received, I felt a feeling of peace and comfort. My sweet wife Stephanie was there with me for the blessing, and our children were there because our children were there. Our 3 daughters were there to be there with me for the procedure when I came out of after under anesthesia. And so my whole family was there that Sunday night. Monday morning, bright and early, I think we had to be here before 7 in the morning. Got in, got all prepped up, met with the anesthesiologist, with Dr. Weinberg, just kind of go through things. And I remember as I was getting ready to go under, I remember saying a little prayer, please let me get through this, and please help that I'm not paralyzed on my left side. That was, my final thought was, please, just, I don't want to be paralyzed on my left side. And then I was out. But my family's in the waiting room area, and there's other families as well of other cancer warriors that are going through procedures. And the MD Anderson people were keeping them updated on a regular basis, how things were going. And so there was no concern, and just said, everything's going well. So their procedure is done. They're being taken to the recovery area. And they would announce that, and the whole way, everyone would cheer and clap, and it was just this feeling of camaraderie, and just that feeling and spirit that my family shared with me. It meant a lot to them, and it helped them get through the waiting process. So again, hats off to the MD Anderson, to those angels walking the halls, keeping these families comforted and constantly up to date in terms of what was happening with their family member. And it was just, according to my family, an amazing experience. As I was kind of coming out from anesthesia and realizing where I was, and the first thing I did is I lifted my left hand, and I was going like this, and I was saying, oh. And I was saying, oh good, I'm not paralyzed. And it's funny, my oldest daughter laughed because she says, you remember that? Because my family was around me when I was coming to, and she says, you remember that? You kept doing that. And I go, oh, are you kidding me? That's that's the last thing I thought about when I went under, and it's the first thing I thought about coming out, was making sure that everything would be working okay. And for me, that was another one of those tender mercies and big reliefs. But my daughter thought that was pretty funny. The recovery was so quick. I remember the doctors, as they came in during the day, and they said, we can't believe you just had brain surgery, a couple hours ago. And I sent a picture of me, it was about 2 hours after the surgery, with my family. And I sent it to Warren Buffett, and just saying, hey, everything went really well. And Warren sent me, and he replied to my note within like an hour or two. He said, wow, Sam, I think I need to go down to MD Anderson and get some surgical procedure done, because if I can come out looking like George Clooney like you did, then, So anyway, Warren's got a great sense of humor. It was interesting, the doctors did say later that day, they said, Sam, you're the strongest patient here. And they said, of all the people here, you're the strongest one. And I attribute a lot of it to just the lifestyle I was living coming up to this, because I was eating healthy, exercising regularly. I made a lot of changes in my eating habits and my exercise over the last 5 years, 10 years. And I attribute a lot of that to how quick my recovery was, because I was in such good shape for a 55-year-old guy coming into this. And I know that helped a lot. Then by the end of the week, that Friday, Dr. Weinberg came by to kind of talk about the surgery. He described the surgical procedure to me. And he came in and he said, Sam, whenever I do one of these procedures, I always set a goal for myself. And I try to remove, 98% of the tumor is my goal. And I try to get as much as I can. I can't get all of it because, again, it's too risky. But I set a goal, and he said, I just want you to know, in your case, I actually exceeded my goal. He got around 98.5. And he said, and Sam, actually, in this case, I've done this many times, but the result I got with you was as good a result as if I would have surgically removed your tumor. But I didn't run the risk of paralyzing you on the left side. And he said, Sam, I've done this many times. I have never had this result before. And I said, well, Dr. Weinberg, it sounds like you performed this procedure above your capabilities. Is that right? And he said, I guess so, because he's never had this result. He's done this many times. He's never had this good of a result before. And I said, well, I'm not surprised, because the night before the procedure, I had a blessing. And in that blessing, through me, you were blessed that you would perform beyond your capabilities. It sounds like that blessing came true. And I knew it would through my faith. By the way, he originally told me it would be a 2-hour procedure. Dr. Weinberg and his team, they spent 6 hours on me. So they were there spending 6 hours while I was in the laser thermal ablation. They took that time. And I appreciate that they took that extra time and they were guided for 6 hours to be able to get that kind of result that they did. And I appreciate them. And again, all these caregivers here that are just amazing for the sacrifices they've made in their lives, for the hours and hours of study, for the dollars and dollars of investment to go to medical school, for the sacrifices their families have to make. And I know it's tough, the hours that they work, it's a sacrifice for their families as well. But it's just so grateful for people like Dr. Weinberg and the people here and the sacrifices they make to make a difference in people's lives, to save people's lives. And I'm grateful to my God for granting these tender mercies to me and to my family. So that is my message to all cancer warriors. Keep your faith. Through your faith, anything is possible. Miracles happen through your faith. So whatever you do, don't ever give up your faith. Stay strong. You will find peace and comfort. Through your faith, you'll see miracles and you will emerge victorious. Thanks, and until next time.